Hello, you guys. It's Gigi. It's Invite the Light back to you with another reading. You guys asked for this one, Kim and Kanye. So let's get to it. The readings I've done in the past have been very long on them. But that was last time I did a couple of readings on them was a couple of years ago. So anyway, so it's not like they're necessarily divorced right now. They're just kind of figuring out how to make the choice. I feel like Kim is actually praying to for the answer in this situation, because I really don't think, at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, she does not want to get divorced. And Kanye is kind of like, I don't want to say Kanye's whatever. He does love Kim or whatever, but he's prepared to deal with whatever, you know what I mean? Because there's just a lot going on with him internally. And I think it's for him, obviously, it's tough. It's been a tough year, particularly for Black people, for race in America. Um, and so I think there's a lot of extra things that lie on his mind that have to do with his identity, with who he is, and a unique set of challenges with identity that she doesn't have to be bothered with because it doesn't apply to her. But being a celebrity, being treated a certain way, and I'm just speaking with in terms of the stress of race relations in the United States, whereas people, their identity, their divinity, there's issues with other people, like just honoring that, and it is really can be really tough on the spirit, obviously. So they're there right now. I think they're trying to sort through this, because it's like Kim has definitely been the one who's kind of been talking and trying to just feel it out a bit. I don't think anyone. You know what I really feel? I feel like Chris is kind of like, we don't want to say anything to Kim right now. We don't want to confuse anything, but Kim has come around, kind of, I don't want to say fishing for information, but pulling for advice and things like that. And the more that she does it, the more that it confuses her, because I think people like Kanye, but then some of the behaviors they don't like, but then he has also so much stress, and he also has this condition that he has to deal with too. So people don't end up giving her decisive answers, which is confusing her. I really think right now there's a really good, probably a really good marriage counselor. I don't think, actually, to be honest, I don't think now at this moment or this year, maybe they will be getting divorced. Things are really rocky, and there's a lot of healing that has to be done, and there's a lot of rebuilding of trust that has to be done. But Kim is a lot more intuitive than one thinks. I think I said that about her before. And I think as she processes things with her intuition. So, meaning that even though Kanye does these actions at times and he says things out in public that are really kind of um, making her feel exposed, or make anybody feel exposed, she knows, she can perceive like the energetic turmoil that he's in, and so it's like on some level she doesn't necessarily take it personally, let's say, but it's a lot for her to deal with, because she knows, she can perceive that he loves and cares for her. He himself has this level of indifference because he's just been over, I don't want to say, yeah, I guess the word is sort of overtaken by all these energies and information and everything that's always going on in Kanye's head. Nobody will want what Kanye is going through, because Kanye, if you've seen any of my older videos from a couple years ago, Kanye is processing so much information at one time. Like, it's almost like instead of just having the five senses, like Kanye is having 15, and there's a lot of information. There's information from other sources coming in, like spiritual. I mean, I'm not saying that he has like voices and craziness. I don't want to give people the wrong impression. He does get a lot of information, and dealing with that information plus his own emotions and who he is and how that information comes in, being in a human body, causes a lot of emotional reaction for him. But ultimately, he is not a crazy person. Like, he ultimately is very sane, but he's become kind of indifferent because the way that this information is processed is not, there's almost like it's almost like somebody lift a dam off of a very big body of water and it just crashes down over you. So he's just so used to being so overwhelmed with emotions and all this information. It's not even earthly in a way. And it's just a lot. So he just has become like a little bit indifferent, like, okay, if it goes this way, it goes this way. Okay, if it goes this way, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna try to lean in. And his best isn't the best, you know what I mean? But his best is his best. Um, at this time. I don't know if he's ever going to be able to get rid of this issue. Something says yes, he will eventually. I think he meets with somebody, finally get some kind of spiritual counselor who can close off some of these portals. They're supposed to be like blessed portals to help the earth, but I know, oh boy, I don't want to sound like, like somebody nuts. So I don't want to talk about it actually. But I will say a lot of this, Kanye is not used to a world that is so far behind in civilization, in innovation, and period. Well, no matter what you think of Kanye, he's not used to this. He's used to people innovating. He's used to forward thought. The thing is that he thought he was, I think, in coming. I don't want to sound crazy. He was like, everyone has a life purpose. Let me put it like that. His life purpose before incarnating here was to assist with moving this human race forward. This is why he has so many ideas. Only I don't think that he knew or whatever just how far behind this earth is, and how sensitive he is. The problem is how sensitive he is at the same time. People who are psychic, clairvoyant, people who are empathic, all of those things. He's like all of those things. And when you come in, you have no training, but you have all these sensitivities up, and then you're empathic at that. I mean, you're processing people's pain. You don't understand what's going on. Is it yours? Is it theirs? You don't know why, I mean, he just hasn't been trained in all this, so he's just been thrown into the deep end, and this is why he ends up this way, because he has so much high level of information, and he's not used to being in such dense energy. And for anybody who wants to say, "Oh, this sounds like such bunk" or whatever, I mean, could you just look at the human race for a moment? I mean, are we still arguing over skin color? Like, if somebody were to come down here and go, I mean, what is wrong with you people? The sun is going to, the solar system. At some point, the sun is actually going to go, not for billions of years, but still, let's just say, for the sake of, the sun is not going to be there forever. It's going to die out eventually, taking a number of planets with it. And we're the third planet from the sun, like when that thing explodes, you know what I mean? Like, and we're still sitting here after several thousands of years of existence, worried about skin color, not about, oh my gosh, you're an alien, I'm human, like just skin color. Step out of your body for a moment and see how archaic that is, like how retarded that is. And some people will even say the fact that we eat animals is also really barbaric, but that's another conversation. I'm not here to guilt anybody I'm not vegan myself. I struggle. Well, yeah, I'm in my own process, but I'm just saying, like, look at it for what it is. Like, he's not used to. I feel like he thought he could come down here and help, but this human race is not even evolved enough to even be able to receive the type of information that he has. And this is something completely different. This is, you know, how people call Kanye genius. It is for a reason. When he is not confused with all this noise and this influx of information that he constantly is getting bombarded with and cannot disperse because no one here is actually really even ready for it. And this is not even like complicated stuff. This is stuff like there's just, you know, like new inventions and creating civilizations where people would be, you know, more um I don't want to say interdependent, no, where people would civilizations would be organized not around currency, but that everyone was provided for. It was not communist. It's a very, you know, it's not socialist. It is social, but not necessarily socialist as you know it. It would be a place where people are free to think, free to be themselves, but everyone is respected for their human rights. And the society works in a very peaceful and respectful way, but also in an intelligent way. And there's room for disagreement and discourse. But it's all done in a very um, smart way. How I kind of see it in a way is kind of like those futuristic movies from the 70s where, you know, stuff like Superman, where it's Superman's home, where, you know, you would see bits of his civilization and stuff like that. And it just has that kind of order to it. Um, anyway, so this, he's not used to this. And as somebody said to me couple years ago, another really good YouTuber, another very an excellent just gangster top level tarot reader on YouTube said to me, "We are considered the ghetto of the universe, honey." Like, and you know, it's like we're over here. We can't even manage to get along. People are just killing each other just for the color of their skin. Like the color of their skin. Like when you step out of your body and you look at how ridiculous that is. I mean, it's just like, you know, as another very intelligent person said, like certain beings look down and they don't see the difference between the human race and the bacteria. Like it's just basically the same. I will never forget that. But I'm just saying, like, how we doing? How we doing? You can't even like basically, you know. So anyway, I'm way off subject here, trying to explain about Kanye, but I want to bring it back in. So I believe that this person that they are going to see as a marriage counselor, this person is also a really good spiritual advisor as well. And I think they're going to be able to pick up on some of Kanye's issues not being necessarily bipolar, but just as with a lot of people who are psychic and they just don't even know it, and they can't go out. They can't be like in a mall because they don't understand. The parents think something's wrong with them rather than it's just that they're very, very empathic. They're normal and they have normal brain function, but then they're treated as if they are mentally challenged or something like that. So this person actually picks this up, and this marriage is not over at this time. There are higher forces at work. There's also the praying that Kim is doing and the indirect anchoring that it's not that Kanye's praying, but he's anchored in faith. Let me put it like that, something like that. So there's also this thing about it feels like there was this exploration with Court, and since I Courtney, I don't want to drag Courtney into this, but that was just a little bit of a sign. So, Kim actually had begun to slowly, because she thinks that this is what she's supposed to be doing. She's got more fight in her. She's got a lot more space in her for this relationship, even though we can see Kanye is a lot. Okay. But just as much as Kanye is a lot for her, and I just said that, it's almost like the energy comes back and goes. Kanye is also so much more of a lot of love for her. He's like a whole nother world for her. And his sweetness is like, it's like biting into a sweet strawberry, like the perfect strawberry, or something like that for her, like in their private moments and stuff like that. It's his sweetness and his innocence and who he really is. It's so beautiful. Um but being in front of people, and when all that energy of other people are going, and all those distortions and everything that almost every psychic person, clairvoyant person, clairsentient person knows, they get bombarded with. I mean, he's on another level with the bombardment. So, I mean, they've just had like a really rough time with this thing about divorce. She also doesn't want to wound him, let's say, but this is a really rough time for them, no lie. This is a really, 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 really rough time for them. And I mean, she's got a good lawyer and legal team in place, but this is all on the back burner for right now. Universe seems to be saying that this is not over. It's kind of just at a standstill a bit. It's kind of in the quiet stages. So it feels like there's a start yet. Yeah, it's just as soon as I said, it feels like there's a new start with them. And it just feels like she's digging in her heels, her spurs for a new start and going, okay, now I'm going to strip myself of this. There was all this stuff before where Kim has a persona, the Kim who has the pictures and the half-ass and all of this and Instagram and all of this. And this is some of the root which she believes, and it is somewhat, and it will calm Kanye down, but some of this persona of hers, he cannot deal with, because he does not, there's only so much Kanye can deal with out of out of authenticity, kind of, or you can't deal with too much plastic, you know what I mean? And in its own right, him being on the Kardashian show quite a few times and stuff like that, that's not for him, and that's not something that a rapper would normally do. So obviously, that he really respects Kim at the same time, and he's very supportive of her. In fact, he sees her as, really powerful. I'm not sure that she fully knows that, because she knows that he's attracted to her, and she knows obviously that he respects her and is interested in her, but I don't think she fully knows that he sees her for a lot more of an amazing businesswoman who's underplaying herself. I think I spoke too fast before I put this down, but you know he sees her amazingness as well, her amazing strength, and also her grace in dealing with him, and also balancing the children. Because I think what he sees is, he sees her, they may have like a fight and get upset in a bathroom, kind of similar, how I see it is kind of similar the way they were in the car, where it's so unfortunate those cameras, it's like invading their privacy. And not that, I am doing a reading on them, so I guess I can't talk too much, but readings are for entertainment purposes. I'm not like really looking in their bedroom window. I don't defend this. Let me stop trying to act like I do. It's basically the same thing. So um how he sees it is kind of like, or how I see it was kind of like, she'll be very upset and crying, and that's a very much so he sees that as sort of a grace as well, like her not getting angry, and she's more crying than getting angry. That's not necessarily how every woman would react to things. And so he sees her humanity there, and then they will have an argument, and she will go out and dry her face and get herself together, and she will go out and be a loving mother for her children. Like she has a well of availability, emotional availability for her children. And I don't know that she knows this, but I mean, he sees her as very powerful, but he also he'd like her to move forward in doing the things that she really wants in the world and things that are um I would say helpful in a way. I'm not just being disrespectful to her, but I just feel like he's like, just break away from this because you have so much power. Like she's really an awesome businesswoman. We know that, but I'm just saying like she just really is. Like her drive, her work ethic is she will work circles around you. Most people who are in the limelight are very hard workers anyway. I mean, that's how they end up getting that traction in order to get there. So um it's her grace sometimes where he gets his energy from when he's in clear mind. And I feel like also, again, because Kanye has kind of let himself go into these rants and stuff, like he has like, one or two energies, entities, like he just needs somebody to clean his aura just to get rid of those to because how it shows up is it shows up in these sort of anxiety ranty attacks that he has. I mean, he will have a lot to say, but it's like the lot to say that he has turned very ranty. As we know that kind of Kanye, but it's just getting but she holds a lot of space for him. She holds a lot of space for him. So I don't really see this is over. She's got a lot of space for this. And he wants to, typically when he's not affected, let's say, I mean, he's definitely husband material. He of course, he is obviously a very great provider as well, but he also gives her really good ideas. He also has a lot of wealth of information for her value and is just a loving person for her. In fact, he's very complete for her outside of, you know, these bumps and stuff in the road, but it's very, he's dealing with so many different things, and then plus being in this human body, being a human black body in the middle of a consciousness that is like pretty caveman um consciousness on this earth in a lot of ways, and that's pretty rough. If people don't want to give you a chance, they don't know you, they're judging you on your skin color, they don't like you based on your skin color. Like, and this is not to be like um a racial discussion, but I mean, it really comes up, and it's just, the differences between their worlds, them having this extra thing as well. Although this, it feels like for them, it doesn't affect them as I don't want to say it doesn't affect them as much because it does show up in here, but I don't I think, there are other interracial couples who this affects more than this couple. Like people accept this couple. Um, you know, I feel like, for example, like every once in a while somebody will be very disrespectful to Serena Williams. I think her husband had to check somebody online the other day about how rude they were to his wife, like talking about her body or something like that. I don't know why they always talking about Serena Williams' body as well, because even people, bringing this back around. I mean, there's people like Kim who also want that same body, who get plastic surgery for that same body. So, if Serena Williams puts on a dress, she looks amazing. It's the body that basically every woman wants. basically. So even though there's a lot of stuff and Kim's holding out like with her family, I don't think they will ever say like, "Oh my God, you need to leave him." But I feel like there's a little bit of distance between her and the family as well. And that's actually thinking about what he said about their mother and stuff like that. I could see that creating obviously something. So she's really trying to make this work. But meanwhile, this has been such a almost like a dark night of the soul for this relationship. It feels like there's so many larger forces of the universe involved in this reading that it's a evolution of their relationship. It is really rough in a lot of ways, which typically when you are going through these universal forces being involved, um, it's to bring them out as better, and I do see that. So I would say at this time I don't see a divorce. I think they bring in a very strong marriage counselor. There's a lawyer there. There's a strong lawyer there who would like to move forward with this, and he's drawing up all the paperwork and all that, and he presents it to her, but I don't think that she accepts it to process it. I think she sits on it. Yeah, I was looking at this card first, and then this one was right next to it. Like, she doesn't. It's like she sits on it. She's one way sometimes, and then another way. She's not. It's like she's not going anywhere. She's going to allow this to work. So let's see. Um, and then their children. I mean, their children are really happy. It's almost like this home. It reminds me of Jerry Maguire years ago when Rod Tidwell, he got hurt, and Regina King, his wife, was like, "We are a family. This is a family, Jerry. Go get my husband, please." Jerry Maguire is going to get the hurt football player. And she was like, "This family does not work without him." That's what she said. And she was in tears. "Please bring my husband home to me. This family does not work without him." And this is kind of the same energy that I feel that would make me think of a movie that is all the way back from 1996, I think. So I mean, she really, they're definitely a home. They're definitely really a happy family. They really are. And I mean, Chris recognizes that as well, but Chris is very standoffish and hurt and feels stolen from in a certain way because of Kanye. Now, I think some of Chris's ways are definitely I don't want to say not appropriate, but they're not her ways are kind of not good toward her children, but she doesn't see that. She doesn't see her. She's always handled her children. She's always been deeply involved with her children. They're a very close family. So she doesn't see her impact as offensive or anything like that. But besides her being very involved in her children's life, she also does things in a way that sometimes could be selfish, or I don't know if she ends up taking too much money or something a little bit, but since they're family, it didn't ever really matter too much. And I think Kanye sees that, and he sees certain things as if Kim gets put second, then he really takes that offensively. And so that's where that came from. I think Kanye respects Kim's mother overall, but I think this is just a difference in ideals and family patterns, and family religion is what I call it. When a family has patterns, for several decades together, and then, somebody new comes in and they're like, "Wait a minute, I know this is what goes on. This is routine, but this is toxic," you know? So, he just thinks that some of the shenanigans that Chris actually does It's not only like it's hurtful in a way, but I don't know, they're just kind of used to it. And so, it has hurt Kim. It has actually one or two times it's actually hurt her progress. This has to do with Kim and Kylie, and their mother managing them both. There's something between that, and there's some bias there. I don't know how she may have cut Kim out of some kind of deal in order to, boost up Kylie in a way or something like that. But it was definitely some kind of work that Kim might have been expecting to be commissioned for and wasn't, and her mother was, Kylie ended up getting it or something like that. And so, hence the comments from Kanye, because Kanye is going to go hard for his people. When he sees something, he can't relax. And I would say, like, if I can't get in, because Kim's family, and their family religion, again, I'll say it like that, it's so complicated and it's so well structured and it's so well woven over time that even if I were to say, like, this is the way Kim's family kind of, like, it's really well woven the way this wreath is. And Kanye's kind of on the outside, and he's like, wait a minute now, you turn Kim, like, Kim's been preparing for this, her businesses and stuff like that. She loses money, you're gonna give it to Kylie. There's something like that where their rift is. And Kim's mother thinks it's like, it's all in the family, baby. It's all a part of our brand. We're all one. That's just Kim's mother's thinking. So Kim's mother doesn't think that what she did is offensive, and Kim knows her mother. So Kim has beef with her mother, but Kim's not taking it. Kim's upset with it. Kim's definitely upset with it being here upside down. But when it comes down to the very small wire, they're still family, and she knows her mother will look out for her. But there's some way, somehow, it's either Kendall or Kylie. I don't know, Kendall's coming through stronger right now, but originally I thought it was Kylie. So, and let's see. Kanye doesn't hold back as well, and with what he says, and wow. So I mean, it was just a little rough, and we all kind of know, like, Kim and her mother and stuff like that. Even when they have really steep disagreements rather, they're not really the type to really be yelling and screaming. Although I know, well, I think she said when they grew up, they fought a little bit, but for the most part, you don't really see them, like, knock down, drag out. They try to talk things out a lot. They try to be, at least from what I've seen. Um, and so the way Kanye goes in with all his emotion and all of who Kanye is just a lot. It's just a lot. And Kim's mother can't, excuse me, Kim's mother can't see what she's doing, because she sees the family unit as one. She doesn't see Kim as losing if she gives a deal to Kylie over Kim. She just sees it as one unit, one family. And that's how she's thinking, because she's thinking they're all of her children. It's one whole unit, it's one whole brand. So I really don't see, I do see some of the ways where Kim's mother could come out of this, and, like, some of the ways they really aren't that considerate. But at the same time, she's also a very shrewd businesswoman, and that is where this is clashing. So it feels like there's this long way of Kim first healing her relationship with Kanye, trying to get him healthy, Kanye trying to heal himself, and then this person who will help them, who understands and can read some of Kanye's energy, and hopefully God get him, like, get some of those portals that he has, portals of information, get them closed off so he's not processing so much. And I almost hear, almost like he just said to me, like, this person already did that. So, he's starting to calm down. But I do think that he does have, Kanye has a lot, he has a lot going on. But he needs to set boundaries in his spiritual realm, and when he does, everything is going to go right for him. You'll be surprised, he'll be a completely different person, but I feel like he'll be wanting to start something, maybe over in Africa or something like that, like start some kind of creative community. Oh yeah, and I mean he does do that prayer thing, so I think he's probably I don't want to say playing with it, but coming around to it, but a new civilization, and I think it will probably be like in Africa or something like that. I feel like Kim and Kanye will make a contract about how they want to treat each other, and they'll treat the marriage almost like it's a business contract, not like a transactional thing, like the way people describe Trump and his wife. But this will be something about we adhere to showing up in our marriage together for the goodness of the marriage in this way. And if we cannot, we take this method to make sure that we're there in this method. And then, so I feel like they make a contract. But I really think that this is a really positive reading. They always kind of have good positive readings. I hope that they're able to work things out with Chris as well, because I really can see in the cards how Chris doesn't see what she's doing. She doesn't, it's because she's just so used to being the mother and used to functioning for all of the children as one unit, one brand, one entity. And that Kanye, he just really wants the best for Kim as well. He, at the end of the day, lies his head next to the pillow and feels her tears on his shoulders. So he does take certain stuff personally. But yeah, I mean, there's something also, some big news coming. Oh, what is this? I do feel like there'll be some kind of disappointing news coming forward, but I think it's more from the gossip sites or something talking about divorce, or it may even have been that this has happened already. But I do think, Kim and Kanye are. This is like before. I saw this before in their reading like a couple years ago. At times, like they are spending time apart. They are like living apart. They're both not happy about this. Oh, and it's getting blown up. This is supposed to be right side up, which means they get this under control, and they've been called out to a certain extent. They didn't want this to be publicized, that they've been spending more time apart, but that they are going to become a lot more private as they begin to work through things, because each one of them are overwhelmed kind of without the other. She's juggling back and forth, as you can see. He's experiencing depression, and his family is his foundation. Like it's a really good big thing of stability. Whereas though at the same time it's interesting because she has a tower over here, which is all hell breaking loose. I don't know if something comes out about her or whatever. I don't know. Is she like seeing somebody else? It doesn't it doesn't seem like it. If she is seeing somebody else, they're not creating enough energy to show up in this reading. She may talk on the phone, like, but I feel like this might be her friend, the guy who I think is gay, though. It's the same, his name Jonathan or Jason, something. Um, yeah, and I feel like I feel like Kanye also as well. He hasn't made the full move, but I do feel like there is like another person in the picture, but I think it's only because he feels like they are at a real impasse. But I don't feel that he's committed to having anything serious with this person more than, yeah, I don't think so. I think he's just um I think he's mostly like with himself. I don't necessarily see anything sleeping together, but you know, forging a friendship and relationship. Like he knows where he would what his next move would be if he is getting a divorce, but that's just an option. It's not like he's acting on that right now. And if he were to be, the divorce would be a really big disappointment for him. So they've got a lot to go through, though. Although I feel like they do, there's a lot they go through. Oh my God, it's just like good and bad, you know. And it feels like they'll hold out through all of this. Some of it sometimes is their businesses and their victories through their businesses and their unit that it's almost like the strings holding them together. But I think for the most part, overall, they end up holding this together for you know, sometime at least 2021, at least for 2021. Yeah. So I'm just gonna leave it there actually because it's tough to say what's what when these two they haven't come to their true conclusions. Like you can see she's thinking a lot. He's kind of going off what he's getting from her, which is that she's thinking, doesn't know which way to go fully, but is not happy, but loves him. And so with all those uncertain energies, there's not really a certain outcome that can be given in this reading. Okay, so guys, let me pull some angel answers really quickly. Let's see for Kim and Kanye. There's recovery for Kanye, and he feels like, you know, it's up to Kim and it's up to him, but it's the ball is in Kim's court. If you got this, there's something better. With the recovery, there's something better. But there's also this energy of feeling like, you know, there's something better out there. And I would say, like, within their marriage, you know, before people were really allowed to get divorced without being shamed, a lot of people were going through all hell in their marriage and still having to work through that. So they are asking for help from others right now. It's really a rocky and rough time, but Spirit is saying for them to remain really positive because if they didn't have the love, it would have nothing to survive. Just like if you don't have a good script, forget about all the action and funding in the movie. And if you don't have fresh ingredients, it doesn't matter what you're working with, you're going to have a pretty bad or subpar dish. And it's the same thing with them. They have the love there as a foundation. So with the love there as a foundation, they're able to really take this in any way possible. Here's the romance card. They really do. And here is the universe saying yes. And there's the success card and meditation. So they just really need to focus on this. And Kanye needs to ask for a lot of higher help. And he also needs to learn how to say no to this psychic thing. Like, you could close your psychic doors and don't allow these other energies to be pushing all this energy and information on you, because it's breaking everything apart. But beautiful, powerful cards here. And you know, it's a rough road for them, but the love is there. So it's super positive. Remember, guys, if Kanye and Kim are watching, meditation brings answers. There's success, and then asking others for help, but not just anyone, you know, like really somebody who is successful, somebody who's actually married. Like, pay attention to who you ask as well. You could be asking other people who are single and never been married and divorced and in their second marriage. You know, it's best to really be with a good, I think this person, if they're working with this therapist they've manifested, is going to be of great service to them. So good luck to you guys. God is with you. Keep up the good fight. Always kind of, you know, good energy in their readings overall. All right, my friends. So that's it. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye now.